him know. Jehovah, for he has done so very, he's done so much for you. What shall I render to Jehovah? Come on, everybody declare, for he has done so very much for me.
Right, hello, good morning and welcome to the show. This is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. It's a Tuesday and it's the 29th day of June 2021. By His grace, we're alive and we're here with yet another edition of the show. Our gratitude will go to the Most High God for the rare privilege of being alive and, of course, the opportunity of having another conversation around the top stories making the rounds here in our dear Republic. I'll let you into our panel for the morning's conversation shortly. But let's take a look at the front pages of our newspapers. And today we're starting off with the new crusading guide. And it says, government targets online child predators with new cybersecurity act. Group petitions Ochihini to distool Bankuhini over missing $150,000. Nungwa gets new development chief. City Spaces selling stolen Kitasi lands on behalf of Amokad Limited will make Ghana the education hub of Africa, and Tim Fojo assures. Daily Guide. Nana Baumia counted. Achimota Forest robbery gang leader grabbed. 150,000 euros startup for Ghanaian students in the UK. GIPC/KGL Diasporan Summit ends. 500,000 Ghana cedis for Union traders. Ignore false claims. Empire builders warn. The Daily Statesman. Let's all get counted. President urges all residents to cooperate with census officials. Leave our DC alone. Elembele residents tell saboteurs. Rebecca Foundation gets $500,000 to support education. Termination of GPGC contract saves Ghana 55.8 million. And who's saying this? Who's saying this? The Insight. NDC jabs Attorney General Akufo-Addo over $170 million judgment debt against Ghana. Fear grips Sekondi Takoradi residents over robbery attack. Poverty is a human right abuse, says Professor Apusiga. God, country, people, Ghana's Doomsday 21. And the Business and Financial Times. Vaccine procurement challenges could hamper growth forecast, World Bank. Tourism sector, businesses lose 8 billion Ghana cedis to pandemic. Government injects 55 million cedis to revive tourism sector via enterprise agency. Standard Chartered backs government with 280 million euros loan for road infrastructure. And that's about it for the front pages. We'll be back shortly.
Gets dirty and wet after wiping your sweat or blowing your nose with it. Keeping a dirty handkerchief in your pocket or bag is very unhygienic. Reusing it increases your chances of getting sick from germs. That is why I always use Flora disposable handkerchiefs. Flora disposable handkerchiefs is disposable, thus making it a more hygienic option. It's thick and very absorbent. With 10 tissues in a pack, Flora disposable handkerchief is better than a cloth handkerchief. Mommy, my Flora disposable handkerchief. Look out comes with Flora toilet roll, Flora multi-purpose paper towels, Flora table napkins, and Flora box tissues in a shop near you. For bill purchases, call Delta Paper Mill on 0243 033 033.
33-watt safe fast charge system with 2-for-1 certification. 90Hz superfluid display. 6.95-inch Full HD+. MediaTek Helio G95 processor. Unbeatable gaming experience. Infinix Note 10 Pro, faster and smoother.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. With me on the show this morning, I have a legal practitioner who is also a member of the legal as well as communications teams of the NDC, Godwin Eduji Tamaklo. Good morning.
Randy, good morning. And,
all right.
Good morning to Doc.
Also with me on the show is a medical practitioner. Was also a former Deputy Minister of Health and a former Member of Parliament for the Lejo Kuku constituency. He's still the Jay-Z of Lejo Kuku. Dr. Okoboy Bernard is here with me on the show. Good morning, Doc.
Manje, be a woman.
You can wait if you want to.
I'm trying to encourage people to wear their mask. But Professor Bunyaga said I should ask you. Good morning, Prof. I've told him. He said your humidifier. You want to know the studies that show that it's able to
best practice globally. Best practice globally.
This is your best practice.
Yes. Best practice.
Okay. You're being careful.
Yes.
Manje.
Where have you been?
You know, I've been trying to see how I can help Hasselfolk to become more relevant.
But you are Santi Kotoko.
Oh, where you pray for your enemies.
Okay.
You know.
Or you left Kotoko too?
Actually, I am phobia outside.
Okay.
But inside, I'm fabulous.
What does that mean? Because you once told us a story about how you went to the stadium.
You know, I used to support Kotoko.
Okay.
And Kotoko has came to Kumasi. I don't know. You know, remember that when they beat us some continental match. They beat us 2-1. The one we scored and they equalized, I think, beat us.
Is that the Confederation?
Yes.
The penalties?
Yes.
The penalties?
Yeah.
Yes.
In fact, from that day, I told myself, maybe if I go to house, I'll avoid heart problems.
It was on the 9th of January, 2005.
Aha.
Yes.
And you know that match too, after a lot of arguments with Professor Agbelega, he gave us money. He's a Hasselfolk trader. So he told us when we finish the match, we should come back. We really wanted to bet with him. He said, no, you go and come back. We couldn't go to class for 1 week. You know, so
after Kotoko were beaten by Hearts,
yes,
you left Kotoko?
Yes, because
and you joined Hearts?
I joined Hearts.
Okay.
But you know, with time the pain went down. So sometimes you feel like going back. So really, I'm with both.
You are with both Hearts and Kotoko?
But Kotoko is deeper. So sometimes you see me wearing the phobia jersey, praying that phobia scores. But if they score them too, you will not see me.
So were you at the stadium on Sunday?
Oh, you know, I avoided the stadium because
for obvious reasons.
You know, I know some people want to create mischief. Okay, Eduji is not part, but some are looking for my photo and say that I've been caught in social distancing breaches.
Okay.
So I stayed at home.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was a good
But you
match.
heard the results or you watched?
Oh, Kotoko did well just by a lone goal.
Kotoko did what?
As in beaten by just 1 goal. Was that not the score?
Beaten by just 1 goal.
Yeah, just a goal.
Okay.
But mine,
Watch the goal. Watch the goal again. Watch it.
but
Just watch
Andy,
it.
I don't want to
The
accuse.
Malam goal.
Which man? Watch it again.
I don't want to accuse the whole station of being biased.
Oh, these are highlights of the game. So
No, but we are doing.
they haven't shown you Kotoko is shooting and all that.
We are doing newspaper review. How come?
But this is also a story. In fact, it's a bigger story.
You know, your production team, I suspect bias because this has nothing to do with today's program.
Why?
One of the headlines you read.
But we were just speaking about Hassan Kotoko.
See the goal.
Go!
This one, I dedicate this goal to Perry Nakufado.
And Nana cried.
Yes.
No, and Nana wept.
In fact, I saw him with the protocol JC.
No, that was
you know,
long time-
yesterday.
that was long time ago.
Oh, okay. Yesterday too, I saw one. He was holding the
No, watch it again. Watch it again.
Oh, how? Randy.
the JC of the French national team.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I saw him too with that one.
Oh, come on.
Oh,
Eh,
Yeah, that's the end.
I saw him. He was holding the JC.
and the
of
match officials did extremely well. I mean, led by referee Lai, who undoubtedly is a Bloby. He attended Accra Academy, so no wonder his performance was super.
Yeah. In terms of officiating, everything was.
Oh, super. The officials did
But
extremely
the
well.
only the problem I had was that looking at listening to the interview you granted, I was quite worried.
I granted quite a number of interviews. Which one?
The one that you said now you believe that the league will end well.
Yes.
I sensed bias
Okay.
for House of Hope, which is not fair because you are a big man in our GFA.
Okay.
How can a GFA executive member say that now that Has scored? Well, you didn't say Has scored, but on the back of that victory, the league will end well. I mean that is not.
Okay. So you probably didn't listen to the entirety of the interview. For the last 3 years, we have not had a successful season in Ghana. The season has never ended in Ghana. And so for quite a long time, this is the first time
So the end is
that we are
relative
about
to the
ending a season. We have never been able to do that in about 3 years or so. And so it looks like by the grace of God, with 3 games left, we're going to have the end,
which has
a
leading.
very successful season. And that would be something that has not happened in the last 3 years or so.
And you mean it has something to do with even the colors you are wearing this morning too?
This callous to celebrate Heart of Oak.
Yeah,
That's fine.
You know, Randy.
Well, that is up to the
Randy,
But
GFA.
I was born Hearts of Oak. I've explained this many times. That look, you, when is Homowo? Where do you celebrate Homowo?
I've heard that explanation.
No, where do you celebrate Homowo? When is Homowo? Where?
I go home.
You go home.
Yes,
Where is home?
I mean, my family.
Your family house.
Traditional, yes.
That's where you go to.
Yeah.
But don't you have a house of your own?
That's where I stay.
That's where you live. But when it's Homowo, you go to your family house.
Yeah.
Yes. Hearts of Oak is my family house. Heart of Lions is my house.
Okay, so me too. My family house is Kotoko, but I stay at Accra.
You are more confused than those who say that the cancellation of the contract
You know,
makes savings for us.
early in the morning Sunday, then I saw a very beautiful Otumfo in a very beautiful Intama.
The Kente with the Heart of Oak colors.
That was not that morning. That was several years ago.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Several years.
It's several
when
years.
even House of Folk was not formed.
Oh, okay.
But the pictures that you hang in your room, there are no pictures you took that morning. Eh?
As of 2-4, that's those colors that came out many years ago.
And
No,
then
but it's just even for the symbolism.
they look
I mean,
so beautiful.
heart beats Kotoko, and you see Otumfo resplendently, dressed in the kente with those beautiful colors. I wish they had the colors. I mean,
That was not after the match.
that's so profound.
It wasn't after the match.
No, I'm not saying he wore the cloth after the match. I'm just saying that to see pictures like that.
But there go again. Oh, okay. That's not it.
That's
Look
it.
at it. Look at it. Look at that. Living legends, oh.
Randy,
This was my captain at under 20. He won the Africa Cup for Ghana. He led the team. Vanya was the captain of the under 20 team.
And Kotoko rejected him.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Well, even this confirms the bias of your team.
Looks so.
Look
Look at how
bright and
looks
fine.
so majestic in the club. Wow.
So let's go to the issues.
If it would touch your way.
Go over you this morning.
Oko Boy Bernard.
Let's go to start the program.
Nana Ukwazu.
Opim Swangasa.
Ukwazu. So you were on your House of Folk story. What happened? Are you done now?
Oh, so far, I'm happy. I'm excited about it.
Now let me ask you something. You know, prior to this game, there was the appeal, clamor, suggestion about an increment.
Yeah.
You know, of the permissible number of fans at the stadium. You know, currently what government
25%
is giving is 25%. And I'm sure that people watching the Euros and seeing the numbers that will be allowed into the stadium, and others thought that, look, we could at least move up to maybe 50%. But of course, it was not allowed for this particular game. From your committee, you're still part of the COVID thing. What is it that will make you move up from the 25 to the 50? And because I now understand that, for example, you're lifting the ban on the cinemas and theaters.
Yeah.
The tourism authorities brought in some guidelines, and once these facilities put in place or give the necessary assurances of those guidelines, the cinemas and theaters will open again. So it appears that we're opening gradually. I don't know when the beaches will also start, but what are you looking at to increase this? Because we're all looking forward to return to some level of normalcy.
Oh, Randy. So first of all, let me say thank you to Dr. Randy Abbey for the opportunity on your show, and let me say a very good morning to all your viewers who are in Northeast and I think 2 or 3 regions in the North this weekend with the Vice President who attended some programs. And I met a lot of folks who are serious fans of the show. So they send their greetings to you, and let me greet all of them too.
What were you doing with the Vice President?
Oh, we one of our regional youth organizers passed away.
Okay.
So
yeah. So sad. So quite a vibrant guy.
Yes, exactly. We went to support the family and to do that dua with them. So greetings to all our guys up north. Randy, you know, the UK wanted to actually ease almost all restrictions some few weeks ago, but they deferred because they looked at the number of people who are covered. They felt that if the
covered as in vaccinated,
vaccinated, and said that, look, if we wait for just 4 weeks, close to 1 million or more can be covered in that 4 weeks, and it will make our chances of being safe higher. You know, it's all about risk calculation. So you can set a date, but based on circumstances, you can alter. We still are working towards having a normal Christmas. That's our ultimate aim.
A normal Christmas.
A normal Christmas.
Or a near normal Christmas.
Absolutely, a near normal Christmas. So this, when the cinemas open, we monitor no recorded cases related to it. Then you'll be encouraged to maybe go to the beaches and all that, so that by the time we get to Christmas, it's almost near normal, like you put it. But it's important to also say that if you look at the soccer, the football, the European tournament, the percentage cover vaccination for those watching is way higher compared to our.
So that's what gives them the comfort.
Yes, in fact, it's the number one measure. And I know that an absolute requirement is that you should be vaccinated before you enter the stadium. Or yes, so if you can't bring such a measure here when you've not done 3% or 4% of the population, we've done just about I think 2.5 or 2.8. So that
includes the one dose.
Yes.
But if you want to take just the
yes, that one
doses,
I think it's less than 1%. So that is an unfair measure if you try to bring it. So with that history, the first thing you would have to resort to is the fundamental one of distancing, wearing a mask. And the most important feature for us is the nature of our stadia. They are open. Anytime you have an open environment, the risk goes down significantly. In fact, our experience with big numbers at open places show that it is even more or less safe in terms of risk comparison, safer than fewer numbers in enclosed spaces, air-conditioned enclosed spaces. So that is why we allow the 25% to see what happens. We could have gone to 50% if we are not seeing those pictures that happened the last time. So when you allow an activity, you monitor what happens. There was a game, I think has exactly. If you look at what the mask wearing was off, they were in clusters. I mean, the emotion was huge. They were hugging and
that's soccer.
Exactly.
So you can't take the passion.
But before we open, allowed spectators to go in, the assurances we're giving is that this wouldn't happen. And we allowed 25% with the hope that when 25% is spread across a bigger space, there will be some distancing. But guess what happened? People went, although they were 25%, they stuck to each other and left there. So if you watch this House of Folk one, it was not 100%, but it was way better because we learned from our experience. So with time, I'm happy and I can confidently say that the last time our active cases was about 1,600. It's gone up a little compared to the average 1,000 we were doing. But I can say confidently that it's not linked to the what happened at the stadia between Hearts and Olympics. So the stadia has not been the cause of cases going up, but we still didn't allow the 50% because of what happened. So the more fans or spectators behave themselves, and we are assured, the more likely that we'll move to the 50%.
So for all the arguments that are made for outdoor, why are the beaches closed?
And so there's the science of managing the pandemic, and there's the art also. The art is that you don't want to send in one day the signal that all defenses can crumble, we are safe. So normally you stagger. The staggering is just to send a signal that we are being cautious. That's the word. You just want people to know that even in easing restrictions, you are being cautious. So that if anything happens, people will understand. And look, if you allow cinemas to open, and there are one or two cases that are linked to it, and you say, wait a minute, let me close it. People understand that you were moving a step by step. But if one day cinemas open, beaches open, clubs open, funeral, everything, status quo, and then the cases go up, it's difficult for people to accept an excuse.
No, but as for the funeral, there's open. That's what that we all
yes, yes. So the point is that we are deliberately staggering or facing. That's the approach, so that when there's a problem, you can quickly withdraw. But like I said, I'm happy, and I keep on telling people, you are way safer outside. As if you can, let the meeting be outside. Even if you are 3, 4, 5 people. Once the person you are meeting is not staying in your house, it's always safer. I told someone the virus likes comfort. It's not a virus that is happy with heat and warm environment. They like cold place, and it moves very fast if you are all sharing the same environment and air condition. So, and so far, so good. I'm happy that by the grace of God, looking at the graphs I'm watching, we've avoided, for now, the third wave that happened in those countries. There are still cases being recorded in significant numbers in Uganda, South Africa. South Africa, for example, recorded about 17,600 cases 3-4 days ago in a day. And we are doing about 25, 30 cases daily. Average, we are doing about 25. South Africa, just 3-4 days ago, had about 17,000 cases a day. In the US, there are certain areas where vaccination is low. They are also recording cases. So we still have to be careful. And the more the world gets vaccinated, the safer or the closer we get to normal lives. And I'm happy. US alone has a capacity of about 5 million doses a day in terms of production. They were vaccinating 3.5 million people averagely a day when Biden became president. 3.5 million a day shots. Now, because they've almost reached 65% of their population, they've almost covered anyone who wants to get a vaccine. Those vaccines are now being shipped to their allies. I use the word allies because in this vaccine diplomacy and politics, people take a look at allies first, more or less. So Canada, Israel, UK. As I speak, 30-year, 25-year-olds in UK have started getting Pfizer vaccine. Some few months ago, even the elderly couldn't get Pfizer. They were all doing AstraZeneca. What does it tell you? Because supply situation has improved, they are getting Pfizer. And guess what? AstraZeneca now comes to Asia and Africa. So COVAX is likely to receive quite a number. So I'm happy with the supply situation. It's getting better. And as a country, we're also preparing ourselves with a cold chain that can handle Pfizer. Because US is likely to give Moderna and Pfizer to other countries like they started doing with UK in the next few months.
How did you?
Yes, Randy, I recall not long ago going to court, and a colleague lawyer came without mask and told the judge, "Oh, my lord, I have taken my two judge." And my lord said, "Yes, you have taken it, but if you are, I will get you out of the court immediately." He said at least there are studies to show that even those who have taken the jab, at least there have been instances where...
He said judge wants to live 200 years.
Yes. So immediately the judge told him that, "Counsel, I'm not going to take this excuse. Put on your nose mask or you'll get out of my court." There are other people who may not have taken the...
Now that lawyer, I mean, he took his liberties too far.
Yeah.
The rules are not set by you.
That's why in your own territory you decide.
Yes. I won't take the same people.
Yes, Randy, I think that this whole issue and you know, watching the stadium and the stadium and the people who were there, and the fact that the COVID protocol was basically out, and I'm looking at before the game, the processions and what have you, among other things. It appears that the whole of the African continent appears to have been more or less spared of the devastating effect of COVID. I mean, in terms of death, direct impact, save maybe the economy, among other things. I will still encourage that we do not take these matters for granted. I have seen, in fact, I really wanted to go to the stadium on Sunday, but then again I said no. Having criticized the president's embalming, the funeral of Sir John, and the things that happened there, I should not be among those who will go and endanger the health of other people relative to our COVID restrictions. I doubt whether what happened that day was in fact strict adherence to the COVID-19 protocols and the observance of same. We are still not out of the woods. And listening to Dr. Okobo, I got a bit depressed, knowing that so far we have vaccinated less than 1% of our population.
That's for those who have had the two.
Yeah, that's for the double. Yeah, that's not good enough. In fact, I was reading a literature recently that over 1 billion people have so far been vaccinated in China. That's quite significant. And the UK, they are dealing with almost 40 million so far. And I've listened to Joe Biden on the US efforts at getting as many people.
So
I want to... Yeah.
Sorry, so if you use we've done our 360,000 people.
Okay.
If you divide by 30 million, I got 1.2.
Yes, so good. So we are still within the 1, 2, 3% range. That's significantly low.
Yeah.
Significantly low. I want once again to associate with the call by the G7 that they are making an arrangement to ensure that they ramp up the production of the COVID vaccine to make it available to developing countries like ours, so that we will get ourselves out of this trouble with COVID-19 and get the economy back on its feet. Randy, I didn't say much on this issue.
All right. Now, Doc, last week, something, I don't know how to put it, but a very remarkable disclosure was made, and I found it extremely shocking. After the first dose, the issue of vaccine passports came up, you know, about a global thing and all that. And for those of us who are taking the first dose, we looked at what we were given, those cards.
Yeah.
And obviously, those cards were not fit to be called vaccine passports or anything that could be used beyond the shores of Ghana. So we were told that the government are taking cognizance of that, and so steps were being taken to make sure that after the second vaccine, we got something that could be used for those purposes. And so when we got the second vaccine, you realize that a barcode had been put behind the card. And then there was another thing. There were two things. You know, two things.
And the hologram? Or?
Yeah, the hologram. And then you had, so there were two things there on the card. And that then gave me the assurance, so that's what we're showing you there. That gave me the assurance that, look, we had done something to meet, so that if, for example, I were traveling to a country that required a proof of vaccine, I mean, I could use my card. But last week we found out that all what had been done has not been linked to any database, any database anywhere. So it is, as, I don't want to say worthless, but really the purpose for spending that extra money and putting those two features on the card has not materialized. The purpose has not materialized.
Yeah.
Why?
So, Randy, thank you. Knowing you and how meticulous you are, I made calls on this particular matter just before coming into the studio. So I talked to Director General.
Director General of Ghana Health
Ghana Health Service, Dr. Kuma Bwaji, very fine public health specialist. Now, this is what he told me. That first of all, the app or the application, the technology that was used to gather the data using this barcode is an external one. They, as Ghana Health Service, have software data for capturing. It's like a surveillance data for all diseases in Ghana, malaria, everything, so that they have access to their data. But because we contracted these people to do this for us, the data.
We contracted who?
I mean, those who did the.
So there's a private company that did this for us.
Yes, like it's not their system that handled this, but it's an external application. I mean, owned by an external person other than themselves.
Yes.
So they don't want the data to be the exclusive within the hands of the external body. So they are transferring all the data to their DIMS system. They call it DIMS system. It's the system we use for all diseases in Ghana by the Ghana Health Service. Now, the excuse or reason given to him is that they can only input some amount within 24 hours. So they are doing about 25,000 a day. That's what he told me. And that when he inquired from them, they said it will take some time to get all the data they have on the 360,000 to the Ghana Health Service system. So that now, once it's with Ghana Health Service, then they would link the barcode to their data so that when you check, it will show that you are in. Now, straight away, I told him that, you know, a second opinion is needed.
In fact, it's a very ridiculous excuse.
Yes. You let me conclude.
Right.
You know, I have also had experience with in quote, public servants or technocrats. Sometimes they can give you a reason, and when you seek second or third opinion, it doesn't fly at all. So I told him that, look, there are many IT guys around. I don't believe that you need months to transfer a data of 360,000.
No, in fact, what went into agreeing to give the deal to that particular company?
You know, so I mean, I told him that, and then what he also told me is that even today he has meetings with them. What he's trying to get them to do is that whatever percentage they put on their system, as in the Ghana's DIG system, it should be activated, so that if you check and you're able to find your data and mine is not there, at least the explanation can come up that the rest of the data is being input into the system. But for now, since nobody is able to get this cross-checked, it will be difficult even to know. I mean, if I had not met you, if I had not come here, who would even know that you are transferring data from the external person to yours, and then before you activate? So I told him that, look, I mean, you are not the only person asking me. Everywhere I go, if I don't know, people send me anonymous messages.
You see, look, I mean, for all of us, how on earth can you tell anybody that you have collected data of 360,000 persons and transferring that data to another system to ensure? My point is that, you see, I always make this point, that we set out to do things with a required, with a certain outcome. You know, a certain outcome in mind. That is why we set out to do what we do. So we set out to put the hologram and barcode and everything on the card, so that those who have been vaccinated fully would be able to show that globally, anywhere they go, both domestic and international. That's the whole purpose. And so in looking for a third party to provide that service, you obviously must look for a third party that has the capacity to not just collect the data, but also transmit same. So you cannot have an excuse when you've done just 360. So assuming that we had 2 million vaccines as we had projected and all that, what will we be saying? I mean, this is a complete no-no. It's a very ridiculous excuse, and it must not be given at all. In this day and age.
Randy, I said myself, with my, my experience, like I say, with technocrats, Randy, if they give you a reason, this is not, I believe this is even a private entity, but for me, my experience in the working community is that anytime someone who is in a particular field says something, it's always good to have a second, third opinion, because, I mean, listening to him, I told him straight away that, Doc, check with other IT experts.
Because in this country, Doc, the IT capabilities of individuals and firms in Ghana.
It's wonderful.
If we indeed had said that, look, we are looking for companies, IT companies in Ghana, with the capability of capturing data on people we vaccinate and transmitting same to whichever database that we have or whatever. I mean, we would have companies that will be able to do this for us right there.
Randy, I said, my orientation is just the one you've taken. I told him straight out, Doc, don't be comfortable with this explanation. My experience tells me that when you get second, third opinion, and most of the time, more often than not, it is when you present the opinion of the third person that such people wake up. They wake up as to know that what they are saying cannot be tenable or cogent. So,
what even went into contracting that third party in any case? What went into? What convinced us? What is it that they have? What convinced us to give them a contract?
Right. Remember the last time I explained how the task force works? That at the task force, when this Frontiers, the airport issue came, we discussed the ingredients that must be in an arrangement to achieve what you are looking for.
What you want.
Exactly. So the ingredients we discussed, that the data must be, it should be digitalized so that people can cross-check, you can share with the world. But in terms of the contracting, we don't decide it at our level in terms of the details and all that. It's left to the agency who is part of the task force, their head, for them to use the...
To go and implement it.
Yes, using the...
You deal with policy.
Exactly,
Yeah.
using appropriate law. So, I mean, I've reminded him just as we've done. And look, we should not take discussions like this for granted. It is all these things that make people who are in public positions uncomfortable to get up and change the status quo. I told him, I mean, 25,000 a day, I mean, what is that? And he was saying the people claim the bandwidth and all that. Although I'm not an IT expert, everything within me tells me that if you get a second opinion, they will show you how this will be done in hours. So,
Yes.
Randy, I mean, we'll all keep the pressure. After the show, I'll tell him it's the same thing. Let's get results ASAP. It's very important.
Hedwig, I don't know if you have any comments on this.
Like you pointed out, today if you want to travel, and this whole idea of the vaccine passport, today it has also become a conduit for criminals globally. People are even now faking it to enable people to travel and others. And I understand that even for Schengen also visas, without it, there's no way they will give you...
You must show proof of a
Yes.
vaccine passport to be eligible for a visa.
Exactly. So it's becoming a serious commodity, to put it this way. So if, and you see, like your biometric passport, anywhere you go, they can, just by looking at either the barcode or something, have all your biometric information. I think we should get to the point where we can have that happening with the vaccine passport, so to speak. And so if we are in a situation where we are unable to do that, we need to up our game. And we need to do that ASAP.
Yeah.
Because it's becoming a globally connected something. And so you cannot isolate the Ghanaian situation and say, okay, we have a deficiency with IT. And like Randy pointed out, look, there are a lot of IT guys. If you ask them, just tell them the problem and they'll give you solutions.
Yeah.
Some of the best IT guys I have interacted with, I mean, they are Ghanaians and they'll do it for you. And sometimes they'll even do it for you for free.
Yeah.
They just want you to appreciate that they have this kind of skill set or capacity. And so let's just get that thing done and over. So that, you know, you don't want a situation where people, you get to the airport, maybe somewhere outside the country, you produce your vaccine passport and it's not connected to anything. It's like self-generated because you're unable to, as it were, access any information relative to it. I think we can avoid it.
No, it's useless.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, like it's self-generated paper.
It's as good as you not having had it at all.
No. I mean, it's as good as the old passport, the non-biometric.
At least if they had said, if their position was that this is how they intended it to be, then I would 100% agree that it's very useless. But at least for now, they've told us that they are working towards...
No, I mean, it's useful to the extent that I've had my double...
It can be verified.
No, for me, it's useful to the extent that I've had my double vaccine.
Yeah.
And so, on the health side of things, I mean...
But the associated benefit, that is what enables you to...
For now, they've showed us that the process is there, but we all agree that the pace and the time is not that justified. They should...
Because as for this one, it perhaps is the easiest thing that...
Oh no, well, a doctor in business, data technology, or naturally, I can't have fee.
Randy, they attempt at my brother to seduce you with gun this morning. Whereupon the real issue is that this one does not require medical certification.
I told you that he's justified.
I know. What I'm saying is that there is no need for medical certification with this, even with business or whatever. The most important
I just confirm your point in Ghana. I told you, you are all saying the same thing.
Did you hear what he told me? That my area of specialization is business and not technology.
Oh, I just said that.
No, but you are basically telling him that the person's expertise is in business.
You know what he told me is even what makes it worse.
Exactly.
If me, the person with a specialization in business can realize that those who claim they have
Can you
specialization in technology
are unable to provide a solution.
I also realized the same thing. I also realized. But you know, so I think
we should take ourselves a bit more serious in this country. You know, and these are the things that
and
leads to all manner of things.
It's so avoidable. For me, that's the point. It's so avoidable. Right from the start, we should have a solution that provides.
No, but see, Edwiji, between our first, let's even assume that prior to our first dose, we hadn't thought of it. Let's assume so. Between our second dose and our third dose,
between the first and
second dose, we had close to 2.5 months or so, 2 months or so. I mean, to source an IT firm,
all these solutions,
to provide a solution. I mean, capturing data and transmitting same to a database. I mean, how difficult is this?
But Randy, do you know why usually occasion this? When the processes of selecting the solution,
but that's the point.
It's not transparent.
That's the point.
Someone just pick a close associate.
And that's what we're using COVID to do.
Exactly.
That the pandemic...
It has now become a platform.
Yeah, the pandemic has become an emergency, and we're using that emergency to do all manner of
profits.
So how can you, as a country, explain to anybody that I have vaccinated people, I've put barcodes and holograms on it, and the purpose for that is to be able to link up to international database so that those who have been fully vaccinated
that's the whole idea.
That anywhere. That's the whole idea. And that months on, we're unable to do that. So people have their card, but they cannot use it for the purpose that it was intended for. Just 360,000 persons.
So when you begin to do 4 million, what would happen?
We'll wait till Christ comes. We're back after the break.
In Ghana and in Africa, there is only one place to look to get that luxurious design and decor for your offices and homes. Visit Jamila Home. We give you the climax of luxury wherever you find yourself. Presidential and executive office furniture, living room sets, dining set, stunning mirrors, adorable wallpapers, lovely king and queen size beds, valuable antiques and antique goods, beautiful chandeliers and more. Into the bargain, we provide caring customer service, prompt delivery service, skilled and artistic full house design and decor services, and free decor ideas for your space. Our products and service is unparalleled, boasting of top-tier clients all over the globe. Jamila Home, home of first-class quality furniture, beautiful chandeliers, and antiques.
Masa, tam kubanwi ya mkani bikufi ya miduno mo budget bona jam why ba have be ayi okay am be be why
HD logo no bottom. When you say HD local channels na mo hwe no. As a picture see clear. E 5 times better. As other channels that go be show hormone. So go dey mention mo ntram hwe akana why. Oh, what a pictures. What a picture. Why do AD plus decoder or multi TV and now electroland agent PR natural local channels now HD the here so better star 879 hash numbers from kubi box and now do advert AD channels now you can
get an HD Plus decoder from now till the 9th of August for just $89.99 Ghana cedis and enjoy 3 months free subscription. Enjoy all the excitement and live sports action in the HD Plus Air Bustle Feely promo. Promo lasts from 7th June to 9th August 2021. Visit hd-plus.com.gh or call 024-243-9872 for more info.
Half a nose for good things.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. Show is brought to you in kind partnership with X Natural Mineral Water. And still with me on the show this morning, I have Godwin Eduji Tamaklo and Okoboy Bernard, the medical doctor. Eduji,
yes, sir.
Your party held a press conference yesterday, addressed by the National Communications Officer of your party, Sammy Jemfi, the lawyer.
That's correct.
And it says, unpacking the $170 million GPGC judgment debt, exposing the lies, negligence, and crass incompetence of the Akufo-Addo government. And there was a brief background, something on the wrongful termination of the GPGC EPA, the government of Ghana's concession that the termination of the GPGC EPA was wrong. That was very interesting. Fraudulent claims about the Ahinkra PPA committee report, false assurances by government of Ghana to GPGC, false claims about propriety of GPGC EPA, government sloppy and incompetent handling of court processes to challenge arbitral award, response to false claims about excess capacity charges, and there was also a few other things in concluding. But I'm sure you've also seen the front page of the Daily Statesman that says that the cancellation of the contract, the termination of the contract, saved us on 55 million.
Randy?
Yes.
Okay, so ordinarily, this matter would not have generated the needed public discussion, save for the rather regrettable diversionary tactics deployed by the Honorable Attorney General of the Republic. And here I mean Godfred Yeboah-Dame. Now, his attempt at diverting the public the public attention from the incompetence and sloppiness demonstrated by the office that he mans relative to protecting and defending the interests of the Republic, to the extent that the opportunity for us to even attempt to set aside the arbitral award is now closed forever and ever. And for me, that is where, and that is what has generated this whole public conversation. Now, when you have an Attorney General who thinks that everything is about PR and his image, will come to the situation where even his own boss or former boss, he would attempt to throw her under the bus with a view that as far as he, Godfred Dame, is concerned, he is Pontius Pilate. He is clean. He has not done anything wrong. It is interesting to note that as at January 25th thereabout, when this award and subsequently the attempt at, taking everything or setting it aside, we had our Attorney General busy in the Ghanaian courts, maybe aside, on the issues about Hohoe, Amewu, and all of those things. Randy, the point we are making relative to yesterday's press conference is that if you begin to look at all the material detail, one comes to one irresistible conclusion. That is, the Akufo-Addo Bawumia administration deliberately in the most reckless and unconscionable manner, plunge this republic into the mess whereupon we are now going to look for $170 million to do this. Randy, before I proceed, I have a simple solution to this. And I think that we need to have the conversation around it now. We need to go back and engage the officers around GPGC. Because, you see, Randy, the factory is at Tema. It's lying there. They've worked to a certain stage. They are yet to even produce 1 megawatts of power. We are now going to give them this amount of money. So we can engage them that having terminated and you getting this amount of money, instead of paying you for no work done, please go ahead, complete the plant and generate the power for us. Yes. Yes. Randy, and the reason why I'm saying this is that it becomes a win-win situation.
If you were cancelled for GPGC.
No, I'm speaking as a Ghanaian.
No, I'm asking you.
I'm speaking as a Ghanaian.
GPGC.
I'm speaking as a Ghanaian.
Will you even tolerate this?
I'm speaking as a Ghanaian. Because now we need to find a solution to a problem. Because to give $170 million, where we have not even enjoyed the benefit of 1 megawatt of power, the level of financial loss that would be occasioned to the Republic is huge. And so, as a solution, we may want to go into this agreement. But that said, Randy, so when our Attorney General decided that the best thing is to threaten former government appointees with CID invitation, and which is something that he's known for, CID invitation and prosecution, it was the lowest. So basically what Godfrey Yeboah-Adame had decided to do is to weaponize Article 1, Article 88 of the 1992 Constitution, that is prosecution, so that anytime he's under pressure, all he does is to say, I'll get CID to come after you, and then as Attorney General, I'll prefer criminal charges against you. I do not believe that in the superior wisdom of the framers of the 1992 Constitution, they intended prosecution to be weaponized for political ends. And that is why I associate with a comment by the Honorable Jinapo that Godfrey Yeboah-Adame should know that this Office of Attorney General, the Geoffrey Binks have held that position. The Joe Randolphs, the Victor Usus, the Marietas, I mean, you can name them. The Betty Mood Idrisus, they've all held that position before. And so, this whole attempt at threatening people with prosecution or CID invitation, we ought not to encourage that. But you see, Randy, we also need to understand this culture of impunity associated with this government, where if they are engaged in wrongdoing and you draw their attention to it, they come with pride. Instead of conceding, they will tell you that, look, Ajiman, we will do whatever pleases us. It is this same behavior that today has resulted in the $50 million judgment debt relative to the Galamsey thing. One would expect that if, as of 2020, the High Court in Kumasi, and Randy, I need to make the point that even our right to appeal that judgment has elapsed.
Yes.
Has elapsed.
Yes.
So we are stuck with another $50 million judgment debt because ministers of state and the anti-Galamsey task force also decided to do whatever they had to do, that we have to go and pay another $50 million to a company for Galamsey and excavator, mason, and what have you. When the president had the opportunity, you heard what he said. He said you can go to court because, one, he himself is not going to pay this judgment debt. It is you and I. If the president will have the opportunity of paying this money, I'm just saying, as a private individual, like a private owner of a business.
The little clarification there
yes.
is that the president's go to court thing was in relation to this new,
No, the task force. But I'm
yes.
saying that it is a similar thing done by the anti-Galamsey task force that has resulted
in their case.
Yes.
In their case, they seized these equipment.
Yes.
They didn't bend them.
No, but even
they
so
seized them,
so
and
you
they
could
not account for them.
Yes, but even look at this one, where you are even burning it contrary to the very law that the president assented to. That's the point I'm making. So a decision has been taken, which today has resulted in this judgment debt. One would expect a certain level of humility when you are dealing with similarly placed matters. But Randy, if you look at the events at the International Arbitration Panel, the Permanent Court of Arbitration, remember that government of Ghana went with its own quote-unquote arbitrator, here like a judge, because it's a 3-member panel. So GPGC had its own member, government of Ghana had its own arbitrator, and then a neutral one. To the extent that the decisions or reasons government advance for the purposes of terminating the emergency power agreement, even government's own arbitrator found no reason with it. They were roundly rejected. And so when an issue of this nature comes up, you would expect that the Attorney General will be magnanimous, even in his commentary. But Godfrey Yeboah-Dame had rather taken a more belligerent posture. I will get the police to investigate. I'll get CID to investigate. I'll do this. I mean, seriously, the IGP and the police that we have, we live in the same community with them. So this era of threatening political opponents with prosecution, unless, of course, Godfrey has something under his sleeve that we don't know. Because any honest assessment of the facts will show that, Randy, we messed up big time. Randy, I just want to read something from the judgment or the award. And that is when you see how reckless, in fact, criminally negligent, the cabinet presided over by Akufo-Addo and the people, I mean his hype men and others, have plunged this country into. And this is what it says at page 479. 479. That's paragraph 479, page 168 of the 194-paged award. It says, quote, whether or not Dr. Hinkra evidence to the tribunal was correct when he testified that none of the information said by the Attorney General to have been elicited on the inquiry of the Energy Commission was provided directly by the Commission to the Attorney General. Rather, all correspondences have been between the Commission and the Ministry of Energy. It is evident on the record available in this arbitration that the premises upon which the Attorney General's advice was founded did not reflect the true facts.
Can you read that again?
Yes. He said, it is evident on the record available in this arbitration that the premises upon which the Attorney General's advice was founded did not reflect the true facts. So you have an Attorney General proffer legal advice, and the basis on which those advice was given is not based on true facts. Now, what I know as a lawyer is that we lawyers, we don't concoct or manufacture facts. And that is why when you see a lawyer write, he says, based on the instructions given, based on the facts available. So, where an Attorney General gives an advice, not based, or which does not reflect the true fact, that's even professional misconduct. That's even professional misconduct. That the lawyer will engage in basically manufacturing facts to fix in a certain narrative That's regrettable. And the arbitral panel then proceeded. He said, first, as Dr. Hinkran was obliged to concede, so under cross-examination, now he concedes that the Boakye-Jarko letter of 13th February 2018, whereupon Boakye-Jarko says that, look, one of the reasons why we are having to terminate this agreement is that Section 11 of the Energy Commission Act provides that before you can start operation, you needed licenses from Energy Commission, and you do not have it. So on the basis of that, we are proceeding to terminate your EPA. Now, under cross-examination, this is what turns out. That one, government of Ghana, President Akufo-Addo, as at the time, had not reconstituted the Board of Energy Commission when GPGC had put in an application for their license. So your own default, your inability to constitute the board to consider the application, you are now using the same thing as basis to deny them. And you see, Randy, you see this.
But pattern, this is what our courts in Ghana have been tolerating.
No, so I'm coming there. You see, our Attorney General has this pattern of behaving in similar manner. Look at Estin. I'll use Estin as a classic example. Estin had a minister execute the lease agreement. What happened? By 2017, that was 2016 December. By 2017, Minister Amewu writes to Estin that he is terminating the lease agreement. Now the Attorney General now goes to court to say that the lease agreement had no parliamentary approval. And for that matter, the lease was void.
Whose job was it?
Whose job was it to take the lease agreement to Parliament for the approval process?
That's what this arbitration panel...
And so, the same thing that they wanted to do before the arbitral panel.
We won't reward you for...
And then the arbitral panel said, no, it is your responsibility to do this. You cannot therefore use your failure as a basis to terminate an agreement of this nature. But like you pointed out, it would have been tolerated in Ghana. So, we are building a culture of impunity by public officials that we need to discourage. Randy, even what is even more terrible is that, can you imagine that government of Ghana now says that one of the reasons why we are terminating is that you do not have the appropriate permit, site permit among other things. At that time, GPGC had gotten the appropriate permit from Kpong Katamanso District Assembly.
Meanwhile, the government then said that they were informed by the Energy Commission that they didn't have that.
No, but now listen to how the arbitral panel then put it. He said, look, secondly, GPGC did have a building permit for the Blue Ocean site issued by the Kpong Katamanso District Assembly. GOG has not been able to adduce any statute or regulation, including the Energy Commission Act, which addresses the requirements for any additional construction permit. This is so shameful, beyond criminal negligence. This is equally shameful, because it's like people have just ganged up with emotions, political vendetta. Let's just abrogate this and for whatever reason. And then they will come out and contrive reasons just to fit in. But you see, Randy, you know when this matter came out, quickly again, the Attorney General was all over the place. That, one of the reasons why we had to terminate had to do with excess capacity charges. Whereupon the letter written by Minister Ejako, dated the 13th day of February 2018, had no reference whatsoever to anything bordering on excess capacity charges. But you see, the arbitral panel had a solution for that. If you look at paragraph 490, this is what it says. Quote, one of the PPEs recommended for termination was the GPGC project. Dr. Hinkran's committee suggested that termination could be achieved for some $18 million as opposed to payment of $24.9 million a year for 4 years in excess capacity charges. The basis of that recommendation is not known. Randy, the basis of that recommendation is not known. So, you see, people sit down and then just generate anything to just fit a certain narrative. Now it proceeds. It said a copy of the PPA committee report submitted into record by GOG. And remember that this report is a document that GOG itself, at the arbitration, tendered in evidence. Now this is what the committee found. Submitted
the panel.
The panel into the record by GOG is heavily redacted. So basically what they have done is edited.
Yeah. They've taken portions.
They've taken portions out. Now, in the spirit of accountability, in the spirit of transparency, put the entire record before.
But I thought they gave reasons for the reduction, that it was for third parties.
No. You see, so this, but you see, listen to what they said. Notwithstanding the tribunal's order that the unredacted text be disclosed. So there was a specific order directed at government of Ghana that give us the entire document. So we can assess the document as a whole and see what way to place on it. They decided to edit it and presented that one as the evidence on record. Which sane judge would do such an evaluation? So this is how the Attorney General decided to defend you and I. And when they have grossly underperformed, they then turn out and say, former government appointees who signed the contract are the people who should be held responsible. I nearly said baloney.
You just said.
No, I mean, you are not even permitted to put such a reasoning out there. Because you see, the duplicity.
You know the funny thing about that school of thought. You seek to terminate a contract, or you terminate a contract on the basis of breaches,
terms,
or non-adherence
of clauses,
terms by the seller. That's the basis for your termination.
Based on that contract,
you turn around
and say the people
about the
who
sanctity of the contract.
That the people who put together the contract. But you see, there's something even interesting. You know, when they went there, one of their star witnesses was Dr. Hinkran.
Yes.
The one who chaired the committee.
Yes.
Remember that Michael Opam was on the chair of the committee. When MPP came, they brought Hinkran and replaced him. Okay. Now, when they decided to do all of this, under cross-examination, listen to the performance of Dr. Hinkran. Under cross-examination, Dr. Hinkran equivocated as to whether he had any recollection of the particular recommendation made in respect of the GPCC EPA at all. He now runs away from his own committee report. He said that no, as far as I'm concerned, I do not recollect that we made any recommendation even on GPGC at all. Just as he has sought to distance himself from the AG's advice of August 27.
So he also distanced himself from the AG's advice.
I mean, it's shameful.
So you can read it, viewers. You can read it for yourself. That's on your screen. You can read it as well.
Now, Randy, if you come to paragraph 491, it says false assurances were given by government of Ghana in October 2017 that the GPGC project was not one of those unaffected as a result of the review, and that it enjoyed the full support of the minister and Mr. Opam. Yes. So this is how President Akufo-Addo, Dr. Bawumia, the cabinet sat down, decided to terminate this contract without any legal basis whatsoever, plunging the Republic into a judgment debt of 170 million. And when such a thing comes, you man up. You don't find excuses from other people, and that will invite you before the CID. Now, you see why the invitation to the CID does not make sense, Randy. Can you imagine that the Attorney General, and if you look at page 2 of the award, Gloria Kufuor's name comes first. The second on the list is Godfred Yeboah-Dame. So, whilst pretending to be Pontius Pilate, he participated in the
He wasn't the Attorney General.
No, but he participated.
Yeah, but he wasn't there.
No, but the record shows that he was there.
Of course.
Yes. Now,
I mean, as deputy minister, he was in charge of civil. Penka was criminal.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so.
And now listen to what at page 4349 it says. GOG's counterclaim. Every lawyer with basic training knows that a counterclaim is a fresh action. A counterclaim is an action on its own. So,
even at arbitration?
Yes.
Okay.
So, what government of Ghana did was to sue on the same contract.
Okay.
By way of the counterclaim.
Non-performance. On the basis of non-performance.
Yes, and this is what it says. At page, that's paragraph 349 of the award. It says, quote, GOG maintains that it is entitled to early termination payment under clause 25B II of the emergency power agreement. An agreement you claim was badly written or drafted. You are suing on it and saying that due to GPGC failure to fulfill its conditions subsequent, that is, by not obtaining the West license, not entering into a grid connection agreement with GRICO, and these are all state agencies. So, the same agreement you claim, NDC ministers did not sign well, and that it was one-sided. You decided to maintain an action on that SIP, demanding that payment be made to you for early termination. So, Randy, if you put all of these things together, the government of President Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia and the cabinet that sat and agreed to this termination is directly responsible for the mess that they have put this republic into. And so when these issues come up and they want to use criminal prosecution of former government appointees, and that is why the NDC, we are saying that if Godfrey Yeboah-Dame believes that he is and he has not contributed to this judgment debt, by the powers under Article 88 of the 1992 Constitution, he should immediately appoint a retired justice of the Supreme Court as a special counsel to investigate this matter, whereupon he himself would have to recuse himself from this investigation. Because the evidence will show that one way or the other he participated in all these events. So we can have a retired justice of the Court of Appeal or Supreme Court as a special counsel. You know,
to do what?
I mean, maybe he said he wants to. Instead of going to the CID.
No, to do what?
What? Maybe instead of going to the CID, to investigate.
Investigate what?
Including him. Maybe, because you see, I don't know how to even put it again, Randy. Because all you need to do, I mean, the award is it's 194 pages, so it's quite, But all you need to do is to read through the award word by word.
This 170 million is minus the legal
the legal expenses
by us. And if you look at how much we are to pay for the legal cost of GPGC, that's about 3 million.
Yes.
We're supposed to pay $3 million to their lawyers,
yes,
their legal costs. And so this 170 is exclusive of what we have paid. We hired 2 or 3 different foreign firms at a time, apart from the Mofa associates that we hired here and all that. Let me bring Doc in.
Okay.
Doc, what do you make of all this? I guess there are about 170 million questions waiting to be answered.
In my VP, hand face on 1 minute break over.
No, we're fine.
In 1 minute break.
1 minute break. Okay.
And well, for special reasons.
No, you want Apo.
No. Oh no.
I know.
We'll be back shortly. We'll be back shortly.
search for a reliable partner in dealing with your U-turn bus needs has been made easier and convenient with SA Automobile. SA Automobile, formerly U-turn Ghana Limited, has been in the business of offering quality U-turn products and services at competitive rates. At SA Automobile, our team of expert staff, management, engineers, and mechanics professionally deal in the sale of U-turn buses, genuine spare parts, its repairs and maintenance at our highly effective workshop with remarkable speed. We also have available the sale of Camel car batteries, Weichai and Kia spare parts, Zonton coaches and light-duty vehicles for everyday movement. Contact us on 020-000-0831 or 054-555-7500. You can also email us info@saautomobilegh.com or visit our website at www.saautomobilegh.com. SA Automobile, the pleasure of doing business with you is all ours.
Football and nothing a high sense as sponsor Euro 2020. Edia Mauno. Nesa Suntina Yatiti TV say who? Edia Mauno. A high sense Euro 2020 TV super promo. Kahuan Kwajo brand new high sense TV and Nibuat Dafo. Pictures near clear na color near deep. Sound quality this dear one it here. High sense TV so dear entry power. About down one access you are. Akona kono utusa barefoot. 18th June, I copy 11th July. A high sense Euro 2020 TV super promo. And my ref is high sense and Kwan and my 5 years warranty. A high sense Euro 2020 TV super promo. I cost a high sense showrooms. I want Ghana for Nanina. What you dear Nansenya? High sense everyday prices for everyday people. High sense official sponsor at the Euro 2020.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. So with me on the show, I have Godwin Eduji Tamaklo and Dr. Okuboy Bernard. The show is brought to you in kind partnership with X Natural Mineral Water. Doc.
Yeah, Andy, so I think, first of all, it's important to mention that this Ghana Power Generation Company, I will not mention names, but it is interesting to know that they were registered more or less with the address of a legal firm, which interestingly happens to be the same firm that the then our deputy AG, the state's deputy AG, was working in, and obviously you can safely say contributed to drawing up the terms for signing an agreement with this power company. Now, the reason why I said it's an interesting coincidence is that here you have a business entity that wants to go into a contract with government. And the same place where it gets more or less its foundation to exist is the same place more or less that you are getting advice on how, in terms of the state, how to go about with the person. I mean, these are very interesting coincidences, and like my brother said, maybe these are the reasons why, if you have a thorough investigation, it will help, so that we see whether some of the coincidences.
What will we be investigating?
Or I mean, when you go into a matter,
because you know, in this thing, this thing of law firms and all that, I mean, I've heard these issues. First of all, when persons who work in law chambers, they take political appointments, they resign from those chambers. So, for example, for all the time that Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has been a minister of state and president of the republic, he has not be involved with the practice or the work at Akufo-Addo Prempeh and Associates.
Yeah.
But that law firm is still in existence.
Yeah.
It's been doing business for its clients with government.
Yeah, Randy, I choose my
even judges on the Supreme Court who hitherto had chambers and have been appointed onto the bench.
Yeah.
Their chambers still exist, some with their names.
I agree.
Cases will come before them, lawyers from their chambers might come before them.
And I agree. That's why I choose my words. So that's why I was not judgmental or conclusive in my comments. But it's an interesting coincidence that I want to be captured, that the deputy AG then, who is safe to say would have helped in coming up with whatever contract we had in nature, is the same deputy AG. I mean, is his firm. Even if it's resigned, there is a relationship. So these are interesting matters. And you know what? Look, this makes me remember Martin Amidu. When the issues of judgment debts came up, I remember Amidu saying that he knows, he's aware of known NDC people, lawyers, who come to him making claims that certain entities ought to be paid judgment debts. And what was interesting to him was that these same NDC people are people who claim outside that they are defending the NDC government then. So it was like, how can you be with the government and be the face of someone who is coming to us to claim monies from us? And Amidu complained because he felt that that particular act insinuated or suggested that it was like trying to use your connections or relations with the government to take something from the same government. And to some extent, he was sort of vindicated when the Woyome issues came up at the Supreme Court, where one of the judges described what happened as part of the judgment, that it was a situation more or less of create, loot, and share. Until a judgment comes out of this, either in the courts or through, how do you call it, a review committee, or what's the word? The Justice Apau, they have a word for it, where you go into an arrangement to see what happened. Until we get a report from such bodies, I can't make those comments that were stated in the courts of Ghana. But remember, when the judgment death issues came that had to do with payments during the NDC regime, there were folks who defended it and said that they were justifiable claims. The money, the guy who got it deserved. I don't want to mention names to matter to be like I have something against them. I'm only interested in monies that left our coffers to entities. People from the NDC folks said, look, if you look at the paperwork, it was justified. It's justifiable, you should go. But the court said they are amazed as to how people were comfortable to pay those monies. So, Randy, sometimes we have to be careful when commentary comes from folks concerning such arrangements. Now, I want to also situate it this way. The fact that a committee was set up, these are facts. A committee was set up before JM, former President John Dramani Mahama, left office, to look at all these issues of capacity, the PPAs we've gone into, how much capacity we have on our table in terms of the agreement signed, how much we were committing and paying just for the capacity sitting there. The capacity has been built, as in the plant has been built. For some reason, maybe not all the power is taken. We pay for the capacity. Some, they've not even started operations, but by virtue of the terms of the contract, we were paying for capacity. The fact is that Ghana was paying monies for capacity that is not necessarily being consumed by the Ghanaian. We were paying due to contract. And even the JM regime realized that a committee ought to be set up to advise us on how to go about this thing. Why do you set up a committee to look into the issues if all is well? So it is clear that we knew we had to do something about these power purchase agreements, how it was impacting on our economy because of the payments we were making. Recommendations came from this committee. And yet, when my senior brother, John Jinapo, spoke, he said, oh, the INCRA committee, he doesn't know about the INCRA committee. I listened to him.
He was being truthful.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying he's lying. But in the NDC press conference, they referred to the INCRA committee and said that there's been fraudulent insertions of certain portions, and even Ghana Power was not supposed to be part of the companies that were supposed to have their agreement terminated. That statement means that they agree that there was an authentic report from that committee. Once you can tell which part or say that there was a fraudulent insertion, you have the as we speak, the NDC has not given us the authentic one. And a senior person like JJ, when it comes to speaking on energy matters for the NDC, said for him, he doesn't even know about the Ahimkwa report. In fact, he believes that it is not even signed, and was asking for the letter that came from his ministry to the committee. So you can see the duplicity or the inconsistency even from the same family. I'm talking about the NDC family or the Social Democratic family. Now, Randy, so fact is that a committee was set up during their time to look at this. When we came, we didn't abrogate or truncate the work of the committee because we even recognized, just like them or even more than them, that this capacity issues is a big problem. We all know
so
that.
What did you do to the
committee?
Randy,
not you. We all know that.
What did you do to the committee?
I'll come there. You see, I wrote a lot. Even Prof was asking me why you writing plates, and I was noting my points. Now, Randy, we all know that if what we need, the needed capacity in Ghana is, let's say, 2,000 megawatts, it's not smart to have exactly 2,000 megawatts in place. They talk about some reserve margin, 10% or 20%. So in this case, it's 2,200 megawatts. But if you have
ECG says 20%.
What?
ECG
yes,
says 20%.
So let's go with, 2,000, you're talking about 20, so 2,400 megawatts. I've added 20%. Now, immediately, because you're in a crisis, you start signing agreements. That takes your capacity, as in, you can have an agreement that says that is 500 megawatts, but it's not being installed. So I will not even call it installed capacity. But your signed capacity, the ones you've contracted, once you have about 4,000 megawatts, and you need 2,000, it means that now you've gone to more than 100% of your, needed capacity. And you pay for this capacity. Even if you are not taking it, using it or selling, you still have to pay.
You pay after they start production.
Randy?
When they do start production.
Oh, all right. Yeah. So the point is that if they start production, it means they have the capacity to produce. But for any reason, because you are not taking, the plants ought to be there and they are not giving you the power, you still have to make payments. I'm also very happy, and this obviously is a problem. When you are paying for power has not been paid for by the consumer.
Yeah, but look, my question is that we are here discussing a judgment debt that has hit this country. And the judgment debt has hit this country because we terminated a contract.
Yeah, I'm coming there.
And gave reasons for the termination.
Randy, I'm coming there.
At the end of the day, we gave reasons for the termination.
Randy, I'm coming
and went to the arbitration panel to defend those reasons.
Randy,
all what you have said does not constitute any of the reasons why we terminated the contract.
I'm building my point. I'll come there. Ingma, I've written, just to so that it's stepwise. Look, I've read your press conference, and Sami said yesterday, the communications director, that there were provisions we relied on in the agreement to go and defend Ghana at arbitration. And yet we are saying that the agreement, the contract we signed was not wholesome or is inimical to us. If you have, running a government is continuity. Even if you have, in quote, a bad contract and you inherit it, if you want to fight it, you still must scout for any provision that gives you some level of defense to go and fight the award or the money that you are being asked to pay. It doesn't mean that because you are using the provision, then you agree to all the provisions. I don't know where that argument came from.
I guess the point is making to you is that you use terms of the contract.
Yes.
Non-adherence.
Yes.
Non-adherence, in your view.
Yes.
To terminate the contract.
No, but my point...
And then when you go to the arbitration, you decide to counter-sue on the basis of terms of that contract.
But for the information of Sami and the public, which other document, the only document that relates, that speaks to the relationship between the two of you, is that signed agreement?
So you cannot...
Oh, please. No. But the point we are making is that whatever it is, if you want to save this country, you must look for whichever straw you can hold on to in that agreement to save the country. Oh, but the point I'm making, look, I'm coming. Yeah. No. You see,
Dr. Kuboy, does it make sense to you?
Randy,
to be honest with you, does it make sense to you that the government of Ghana, in abrogating a contract, cites the absence of a permit from an assembly?
Randy, I'm coming. You see, let's be patient. The point I'm making is that as you speak, the impression has been created that there's no liability being incurred continually by this government for some of these excess capacity charges. I'm coming. The finance.
Stick to this particular.
No, of course. The point is that the finance minister, by the way, before I forget, this attorney general is on record as having gone to court to defend Ghana in the judgment debt claimed by one financial institution that was running into several millions, if not billions, of cedis. Recently, it was reported in the news that the court awarded a judgment debt. The price was less than 10% of what was being sold.
Which one?
Oh, my brother, you can help me. You know what I'm speaking about.
This issue of, I think, NDT or something.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Well captured. This AG went to court to make sure that, as a state, we don't just pay monies like it happened during some time. We fight and make sure that even if we should pay, we put in a very serious fight to protect, how do you call it, the interest of this thing. And Randy, my point is very simple. If in Parliament, the records show that Ghana as a state had paid $937 million from 2017 to the time.
4 years.
Yes. This money that we paid is not power that Okoboy took, used, and paid for. You pay because it is a potential that is there, but you didn't take it or you didn't sell it.
Doctor, just relax on that figure.
Yes.
If you divide that figure by
I'm coming there. It came to 234. I saw it, yes. But you see, my point
is
if
you get a 234,
yes,
and the ECG says that the reserve margin must be 20%.
Yeah.
What's the 20%?
Yeah. You see, people have made that comment of the reserve margin must be 20%. If you have a recommendation,
you contest that?
No, come. Yeah. If you have a recommendation from ECG that we must have a margin of 20%, for the layman, that is a margin that if you have, we say that it can let you have smooth power flow. But for the layman, the message I want to carry across, which is true, is that this money we pay for, it's power that is potential, it's sitting there, but we didn't use, which you agree with me, right?
But is that not what the case must be?
Randy, but my point is that
yes,
everybody says that, oh, we are about to pay. This agreement we had, yes, the committee that was set up, the committee was set up to modify, to do modifications. This was in James times. What were the modifications?
They were to make recommendations.
Yes. And their recommendations largely were modifications of, some were deferred. There are agreements that were deferred. Why did we defer? We deferred because if they had come into effect earlier, we were going to pay monies for potential.
So what was their recommendation on this particular one?
No. You see, the reason why I go that angle is that as a state, there are agreements that we've signed that makes us pay money for power that we've not used.
Yeah, but
and the way we are talking,
look, I'm saying
people are talking.
I'm saying that there is a specific thing. We have done specific things. It's resulted in a specific outcome.
Yeah. Randy, the power that agreement
for the same this same agreement. What did the committee recommend?
Randy, but in any case, the NDC says that. I mean, going with JJ's comments, they don't even know about the INCRA committee.
See, we have the arbitral award. We've even showed it on the screen.
Let me.
Doc,
see,
I'm saying that if we say we are relying on the what did the committee recommend?
Let me come to the award.
And is that what we did? Is that what we went by?
Let me come to the award. Remember, the contract was drafted in a previous regime. The nature of the contract was drafted in the previous regime. We inherited it.
It went to Parliament.
Fine. But Parliament has agreed, even serving Parliament, there were arrangements that we approved. They had to come back. Is that not it?
Yes.
Yes, so the fact I went to Parliament doesn't mean that, I mean, it's sanctimonious, or we can't speak to its ills. But the point is that it was more or less crafted during the previous regime. Randy, I'm not a lawyer, but he's here. Every lawyer will tell you that when they take a case to court, in their own chambers, they have an idea of the chances of winning that case. Sometimes, based on the study you've done, Randy, your chance of winning a case as a lawyer can be 20% or 30%, Randy. But for some reasons, you still go to court, hoping that some way, somehow, if you are not even able in this case, able to avoid any judgmental debt at all, the amount that would be you'll be slapped with, Randy, would be less, or how do you call it? Would be a minute amount compared to what would have happened to you if you are not going to court at all. I don't know. I'm insinuating something. It is not enough because we are in government now for us to say that I've looked at this agreement. It's been terminated. Our case is bad, but the liability it puts on us is so much that.
Shouldn't you have made all these considerations before terminating?
Oh, Randy, there is liability that comes with arrangements. And first of all, the committee was set up during GM style because Ghana knew that there was serious liability.
Why do you still go on committee?
Oh, Randy,
the committee didn't terminate an agreement.
Randy, the
agreement was terminated on the basis of the advice of the Attorney General.
Randy, the objectives for setting up that committee is an admission that there was serious liability for the nature, number, and existence of PPAs that we have on our books. I don't know why did they set up the committee.
So they set up a committee, and the committee made recommendations.
And Randy,
and what was the recommendation made with respect to this particular agreement?
Naturally, my point is that that committee that was set up.
Yes.
The reason why the then government was pushed to set it up was that we were making payments for power we were not using.
That's incorrect. That's incorrect.
Doc.
Just one power agreement that we paid for power.
This particular company you are talking about.
I'm talking about capacity charges. No. If there was no liability, if we were not servicing, if we were not paying for capacity, why do you set up a committee to do modifications?
The government of Ghana, you take $1 from the consolidated fund.
Yeah.
It is traceable.
Yeah.
Now tell me, of all the power purchase agreements signed under the ND, just one that we paid for excess capacity. Just tell me. I mean, you make the discussion.
A question was put in Parliament. All the facts about payments. No, I'm coming. Why are you not patient? Okay. You should be patient. Okay. About the payments we've made in the past 4 years came out. It's very simple. I'll just put this question to the finance people. All the payments that were made.
Because the finance minister, had said at the 2019 supplementary budget hearing that we have been paying $500 million annually. $500 million annually. At least what the answer to this urgent question brought about was that claim by the finance minister was inaccurate.
But what it also told us is that we were spending money for power that we didn't use. That is also
everybody knows.
But there are people who think that this is the first time should we pay this judgment. This is the first time we are going to pay money for something we've not gotten value for. This 234 million. What's the value?
Doc, you cannot say that. If the recommendation is that you should have 20% reserve margin.
Oh, people are trying to hide in this 20% recommendation, Randy.
Please, Doc.
Please.
Doc. Doc. Cool. And fortunately for the three of us living here, sitting here, at least
benefits.
I mean, yes, I mean both of you are more educated than me, but it's fine.
At least you are the doctor. You are the book doctor.
No, I'm the least educated here, at least. But
you are
all of us appreciate.
I'm the least.
All of us appreciate
that. If the doctor says he's the least educated, what are you trying to talk? What are you trying to say?
When
he's elevated me.
When at least I'm deferring to both of you. You know, Doc, the point I make is that if the recommendation is that you need to have at least 20% reserve margin, that one cannot be described as a waste.
Yeah, but
although you are not consuming it, it can't be described as a waste.
No, but Randy, my point simply is that
it's just like saying that I would use 20 gallons of water a day. It's recommended that I keep 30 just in case.
Yeah.
And since I use 20 and I don't use 10, the 10 is a waste.
Yeah, but
you can say that.
Right, my point is that
but the point I'm even making is that you see, I don't want us to drift. The issue before us is that one, by the panel's decision, we terminated a contract. And the basis for the termination is not supported with evidence.
Oh, Randy, one thing you should remember is that the fact that as we speak, the arbitration is saying that our arguments are not tenable. With all due respect to them, if you check awards from arbitration panels, doesn't mean that till Christ comes, that will necessarily be the case.
What
Sometimes,
can you do?
I'm coming. I know they've closed the window and all that. But the point I'm making is that we've had review of decisions from arbitration panels, and the reviews have shown that their conclusions were not justifiable.
Yeah, but in this case,
I'm coming.
In this case,
I'm coming. The way references is made to them, and because of their judgment, we speak as if whatever arguments were put forward by the state.
So what about your own arbitrator?
Right. Please. Right.
Your own
See,
arbitrator.
Please, Randy, your man, I know he's a good friend. Bagbo. You know the panel that found him guilty? Well, after several appeals, Laurent Gbagbo.
Oh, okay.
Yes. The International Criminal, yes. After several appeals and getting lawyers to go and challenge the grounds. The appeal, those that were in panel, said that the grounds on which they put the man in jail were unfounded.
Okay. So you know, so you know what Gbagbo's lawyers did?
No, I mean,
you know what his lawyers did?
Wait, Randy.
When a decision was made against them and it is wrong, they went by the dictates of the law, timeously to file whatever they had to file.
I'll come to the
because they believe that they had grounds to do it.
Sloppy. You see,
you've been coming for the last 45 minutes.
Randy, see your producers are even shouting. Take your time. I didn't put it that way. So my point is simply that we should be careful citing the ruling of the arbitration panel. Does not necessarily ridicule the arguments we made. For now, it's a standing judgment. So if you try to hold on to it, I don't have a problem with you until there is another, how do you call it, perspective to that particular case. And unfortunately, I wrote exactly what your opening comments were, Edwigi, where you said that Odami thinks, AG thinks everything is about his image, PR and image. You know, as a physician, normally when someone is talking, I want to be interested in what is the motivator, what is driving the comments. If you listen to Samit's press conference yesterday and the way you also started, there is this attempt to try and ridicule the capacity of Godfrey Odami as, a lawyer, AG. No. You see, I'm coming. To make an opening statement like, if you have an AG, I wrote exactly who thinks everything is about PR and image. That is damning. You see,
no, because 30 seconds. Because you see, for instance, if an issue comes out and your first attempt is to throw your former boss under the bus, creating the impression as though you were never part of that conversation, and the evidence on record shows that even at the arbitration, you were the second lawyer on record, then the only reason why you would want to throw your boss under is that so you look like Pontius Pilate.
You know, your 30 seconds is up. Now, you know...
At least I've been faithful to the 30 seconds.
You see, if you had spoken like this, it's an opinion. There's no way, there's no way I'll try to rebut. But when you start your opening comment, is that when you have an AG, that is judgmental. It's communication. When you have an AG who thinks all is about his image and PR.
That was unfair to the AG.
Exactly, sweeping.
It's person of the AG.
Yes. You are going at him. When your opinion is that the approach should not be to distance yourself from position taken by your boss.
But that's a personal decision.
Oh, I said that is a fair comment. But when you say, and I'm linking your comments to what came out in the press conference yesterday, where, words like clueless, the crass incompetence. You know the funny thing?
Hey, incompetence is personal.
No, there were a lot of words used to I describe them. If I go, maybe they might be even more serious than the incompetence. But they threw a lot of things.
Sloppiness.
You know what? It's quite funny in this country. You don't need a soothsayer to speak to the abilities of the young man, or the old man, or the middle, whatever I call it. He's had his day in court with some very wild giants from your side. He's shown that he has an understanding of the law. Yes, I know he will not be someone who knows. He's not all-knowing. Only God is all-knowing. But his demeanor and delivery on many cases in this country, so against some of your most formidable lawyers, has shown that this is someone who you have to take serious. So if a matter has come and we are speaking to the defects, the strengths, or the weaknesses of how we approached it, we should quit this thing of, and he's clueless, and he speaks to, he didn't know what it was about and all that. And by the way, we have to be careful because...
Unfortunately, you know, the Attorney General himself has had to grant interviews.
Oh, Randy, as for me.
Just hold on. Okay. I'm saying that he's also had to grant interviews. And in so doing, he has also thrown himself into that space, per some utterances of his and all that. I'm just saying. Yeah. So, for example, what will make John Jinapor retort that you won't be Attorney General forever?
You know, and you see, and even that angle.
He obviously was in response to...
Look, I'm happy that crime doesn't expire. If the NDC is convinced that Odami slept on the job, because I read somewhere that one particular lawyer said, if an AG deliberately or...
But he wasn't AG at the time. That's just the point. Well, he wasn't the AG at the time.
Yes, but my point is that if they are so convinced that our AG's department, and I'm talking about the political leaders or the heads, slept on the job, and that the authorities they should have referred to were so manifest, and yet didn't know. I mean, I know that one. We all know that this government will not be in power forever. We are hoping for some 24 years at least. Then they will come.
You're hoping for what?
How long will it be before they come? Is it part of your this? I said we are hoping for some 24.
Somewhat?
Some 24.
24 years in power.
We are hoping.
Okay.
Yes. All right. By that time, we would have become either just close to first world.
Okay.
That's what we are hoping.
All right.
Now, whichever time they come to office, crime doesn't expire. They can prosecute. And for me, when I see prosecutions or committees to go into a matter, I don't see it as aggression. I get surprised when some of the NDC people say that when Odami is being aggressive or belligerent by saying that, and we will tell the police to investigate. What is aggression? Anytime there is an investigation, it only helps to get the facts.
So, Doc, let me ask you a question. Have you read the arbitration panel's...
Oh, just excerpts.
You've not read the whole thing?
Yes.
You haven't?
No, not the entire.
Okay. Are you free? Will you be free this weekend? This weekend, will you have some free time?
No, if you give me the entire document, why not? Okay.
I will entreat you to read the entire document. Just take your time. This weekend, read it. And then next week, I'd ask you what you make or what you read.
No, but you see, Randy, I'll do the reading. But I made reference to the fact that I've cited many judgments that have come from arbitration panels that in subsequent reviews or appeals, those who sat on have distanced themselves from earlier judgments. Just
what makes this?
It's a caveat so that we don't talk.
You know what? Yeah. I'm not speaking about opinions of the panel.
Yeah.
Mind you that the three members of the panel, one was chosen by Ghana. We chose one.
Yeah.
The other party chose one. And then both of them agreed on the third person.
Yeah.
Now, if you have a situation where all three, including the one you chose and the other that you jointly chose.
Yeah. Randy, if you have...
No, let me just finish. You know, they are speaking to the record.
Yeah.
What transpired at the place.
Yeah.
For example, the testimony of Dr. Hinkra. What happened during cross-examination. They are speaking to the record. They are speaking to the facts. What you brought. The defense you put in. They are speaking to it. The fact that you could not provide any statute. They are speaking to the facts. They are not expressing an opinion.
Randy, let me give you a classical example. And forgive me for using your wife. But assuming your wife enters into an agreement without your knowledge, and the terms of the agreement are inimical to her fortunes in terms of the outcome, and you cite the agreement and realize that your wife has agreed to the terms. The way it was crafted, you don't know who advised him, but it's inimical to her in terms of put serious liability on her. Can make her indebted for life. Now, if you have the option to still terminate it and then go to court to see the liability that you incur versus letting the lifelong liability that the contract puts on exist, which one would you take?
All right, so I'll give you an answer. Now, so assuming that I am more knowledgeable or wiser than my wife, and therefore she entered into a contract.
She's not watching, so
I'm saying that she entered into a contract.
Yeah.
That makes her indebted for life. And me, in my superior knowledge and in my superior capabilities, I go and terminate a contract, which leads to not only her being indebted for life, but myself and our children being indebted for life. I would have demonstrated that indeed I am more wiser and more knowledgeable than her. That's my answer.
I like your answer, but in this case, the analogy I gave you, you weren't going to put your children and yourself in debt. You're only going to
you seek to go and terminate a contract that is valued at 24 million or so a year for 4 years.
And as you speak, I'm happy you raised this point. As you speak,
nobody
has been able to tell us the debt we're going to incur over the lifetime in terms of capacity charges of that particular agreement versus what
it is in the contract that was approved by Parliament.
How much is it?
It's 24 point something million, 24 odd million for 4 years specific for 4 years. So it is known. The value of the contract over the 4-year period is known. And the value of the termination is also known now. So now, between my wife and I, we know who's wiser.
Doc, can I just read? The Ahinkra committee that government brought to the
arbitration. You distance yourself from.
The arbitration. This is what Dr. Ahinkra himself said.
No, don't quote from it, because your guys don't.
Termination could be achieved for some 80 million, as opposed to payment of 24 million a year for 4 years in excess capacity charges. The basis of that recommendation is not known.
So you are comfortable with 24 million a year for 4 years?
No, but if you do 24 times 4, that brings you to
should we pay that? You are
and you are talking about 170. But you see, Randy.
Randy, I mean, for me, my concluding comments are that, I mean, these are matters that, once there's this serious liability, these are matters that we need to really go into. To not necessarily inspired by incarcerating or punishing actors, Randy. I'm choosing my words, not necessarily. Meaning that can happen. But most importantly, to learn the art of going into agreements in such times when you have emergency situations. And even better still, how to craft these commitments in a way that we don't expose or open ourselves to some of these problems. It is only an investigation that would show whether the serious liability or problem, what made us get here, is from the commissioning, and maybe not the termination, or from the termination.
But it's pretty obvious that it is the termination. Nothing else can change that.
There are many things that look. Randy, let me quote scripture.
Until we start holding people responsible for using state power. To deal with things as if.
Randy, but that's what I'm also calling for.
As if they were dealing, because you see, look.
Let me quote scripture. Look, continue.
The government of the Republic of Ghana cannot, in terminating a contract, make a claim like somebody doesn't have a permit.
Randy,
just hold on. Just hold on. This is how we ridicule our so-called intellect and capacity. When we're saying that an entire government machinery, in terminating a contract, makes a claim that you don't have a construction permit. And we say that is because the Energy Commission told us so. Only for same permit to be adduced at arbitration. And we think that is okay. It's just okay.
Randy, I don't believe that maybe this would have been the only.
I'm not saying only, but to cite it.
Yeah, that's why.
To cite it as a reason.
Randy, for now, it's based on your judgment.
It's not my judgment. A book no lie.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you've read a document, you've assimilated, and you are making, how do you call it? You are stating what you think it's so. That's I said.
I am embarrassed by it. Well, that's the point I'm making.
But I would be comfortable if you are embarrassed by the work of a body that has looked into all this from the commissioning up to the termination, and not not let your emotion be determined only by the fact that
I am not emotional about this, and I cannot be emotional about it. Well, I am disappointed.
There's a little bit of emotion too.
No, I mean, you see, Doc, let me tell you something. Doc, look, we can choose and play around these things and say all those things, but look, somewhere else, people say jokingly, but look, just juxtapose the two.
But somewhere else, they would have done it somewhere else before they take step on somewhere else. If they think that a liability has accrued to the state, or the state ought to pay for, is indebted because of a judgment like this, before they take action somewhere else, they will do some work, review the whole process.
Which process?
I mean, from entering the contract,
no, why
to
did
the terms
see
and everything. No, they wouldn't just cite termination.
You have terminated the contract and you've given reasons for the termination.
No, but my point is
just hold on.
Yeah.
You have given reasons for the termination.
Yes.
Where in the reasons given are the issues that you raise?
Excellent. And I'm saying that somewhere else.
We are where we are because you terminate and gave reasons.
Yeah.
The other party found the reasons untenable. They've gone for arbitration according to the dictates of the contract. You've gone to arbitration. You're unable to defend the reasons that you gave for the termination.
No,
and you say we should look at what?
No, you are comfortable discussing the ingredients which we cited for termination and what has come out. I am saying that.
Is that not what I should look at?
I am saying I'm comfortable with starting from how even the nature of the agreement, how we got into the agreement, the contents, the provisions in the agreement, and the termination. I'll look at all.
How did those things lead you to terminate?
Because we've all agreed here that the nature of some agreements was putting liability on the state.
So this particular one, which liability was it putting on?
But the work will show. That's why you should start.
Which work?
I said a review. You said
as we sit here today, you should be able to show us that yes, this particular one was putting this liability.
If I show you, can
and so we are better off with this.
Let's have.
Randy,
that's why the investigation is being called for. He said it's aggression if the AG goes to calls for an investigation.
Dr. Okoboy.
I go with investigations and all that, so that the facts.
Dr. Okoboy, can I, in honesty, I just want to find something. Maybe, Jace, do you have, for instance, say, a generator at home?
No, go ahead and make your point.
No, I just want to. There's a reason. So for instance, you have a generator at home that when you do not have the regular electricity, you rely on it. Would you call that investment in having the generator a waste?
I would have, but compared to this example, if I have to pay...
No. I'm just saying that. Because you see, the generator.
If I have to pay 1,000 Ghana cedis to the one who gave me the generator every month for just having it in my house, that's where I have to review.
So if I understand you, you prefer that instead of buying the generator, anytime you have the light off, you quickly go to the supplier of gensets and get it. When the light comes back, you return it.
I might consider that if I have to pay him just for the generator sitting down. No, you don't get it. No, buying a generator, I agree. But my point is that if I have to pay...
So the cost of buying the generator, who should bear it?
I'm going to bear it.
Exactly.
But if I have to pay for just having the generator...
So you see. So in this case, hold on. Power plants, are not purchased off the shelf.
Yes.
Nobody goes to the shelf to buy a power plant.
Yeah.
To even do the financial engineering, put a financial closure, start the process, may even take you 2 years. So for instance, when you have emergency doom-so situation, you cannot go off the shelf and buy a power plant to give you 200 megawatts. You can't do that. So you need a process. Now from 2005, the Energy Commission report indicated that we needed to increase annually our generation capacity by almost 200 megawatts. And that we need to do that regularly. Our inability to do that always results in the situation that we have. And so you have a situation where you are having to put in place the capacity that allows you to have the needed generation. Randy, a quick example. As we speak, Bui Power is supposed to give us 400 megawatts.
But it's a reserve plant.
Yes, but today it's just giving us even 90 megawatts.
If it's giving us 90, but we don't have to pay for the...
no, but that's because it's hydro.
310.
No, that's because it's hydro.
I don't have a problem.
That's because it's hydro.
But
you see, you can't rely on all our hydro.
No, I agree.
Facilities.
But my point is that if the other...
So this conversation that it was not prudent, it is prudent is what?
My point
it's
is...
not even born out of
gentlemen, my point...
Gentlemen, please, Randy, just 30 seconds. You see, I'm happy you cited Bui. Bui is, let's say, 400 megawatts. It gives us 90. There's
90 currently because of
water. Yes. So let's say it's giving us 90. But we are not having to pay...
It normally should give us like 250.
Okay, we are not having to pay, let's say, for the 100... Let's say there's a 150 megawatts that is potential as it could have given.
No, because it's ours.
Yes, I understand. But my point is that because we don't have to be paying for that one which has not been taken, if you have such an arrangement, I am very much comfortable with that.
Okay.
I'm coming. When it's time, I'm coming. I'm coming.
You say,
let me
no,
I'm not saying 30 seconds.
Oh, no, you are done. You see, Doc, let me just do a quick rebuttal.
I want to get my point.
Okay, go ahead.
But if it's thermal and it's coming from another source, like I said, it's not ours, and the capacity is 200, I'm taking only 10, which I'm selling and getting money for. But for the, capacity is 300. So for the 200 and let's say 90, I still have to pay, let's say $100 million for that capacity, potential capacity, but it's not been given to me. That is where I'll say that, okay, go in such an agreement. My argument is that try and negotiate well. See, maybe you don't even have to go to the...
Are you aware there are people who also made the argument then that if it's a reserve plant and it's not going to give you all that 400, there's no point in spending the money we spent and building the dam. And that if it's only going to give you... People made that argument then.
Well,
because you see,
but
I'm saying people made that argument.
See, it's a recurrent.
No, but you see, made that argument.
Their point is that why sink $600 million?
Yeah, people made that argument
into a project that only
because, to be honest,
90 megawatts.
Investing in a one-off project that has a potential to support in time. Usually, I don't have.
Because you see, Doc, the point I make is that the point I make is that you see, Doc, the point I make is that the same way when a thief is found here, I don't have the right to beat the thief to death. The thief may have done the wrong thing, but in doing the right thing or in apprehending the thief and all that, I also need to be mindful of my actions.
Yeah.
And I don't say that I have killed a thief and there's an issue of murder, and I say, oh, I've killed the alleged thief. And then an issue of murder, and I say, oh, no. Don't look at what I did.
He's even a thief.
He's a thief.
By the way.
You know, the point I seek to make is that, look, if we say something is inappropriate, let's go ahead. That's why I keep asking about whether they went by the recommendations. So, if you found that, for example, that we didn't even sit to negotiate with the company. The recommendation was that, look, although 24 something, you can pay 18 if you negotiate with them. And you decided that, for whatever reason, you will not even call the company and sit with them. Meanwhile, there are other companies that you are negotiating with. There are companies whose leases should have expired by now. You have extended them by 5 years. There are others that you are deferring, you are negotiating with. And there are others that you decided that you would not even invite them for a discussion. But you sit in the comfort of your office and write a letter to them terminating paper. And ask them to go to hell. You understand what I'm saying? Now, if your committee recommended that, look, this is one of the things that you need to engage the company with a view of terminating. And so instead of 24 point something, you could pay 80 million if you engage them and negotiate. What should you do if indeed you want to cite that report as a gospel truth? You engage them. If negotiations break down, then it's a different matter. But if you decide that, as for us, we'll pick and choose who to negotiate with and whose contract to extend and who not to extend and who to just write a letter and terminate, if we have repercussions like this, you don't turn around and say, well, then let's look at...
Doc, because you are
Doc, a quick
if you are a
Doc,
tenant, you don't fight
Doc,
with the landlord.
Doc, somewhere...
You, for now, that's your duty. I'll not let him go like that. But
Randy,
because you're the landlord...
Randy, you see, somewhere in April 2017...
Randy, I have one last topic before we close.
President Akufo-Addo...
Yeah, we have some 15
cut salt.
I have one last,
okay.
Very important.
Randy, cut salt for the early power project. That early power project, who negotiated it? Who signed that contract? It was done under the NDC. But he came, cut salt for the project to continue. How different was the early power PPA and this one? It's the same take or pay. So, like I pointed out, you cannot approbate and reprobate. Like you were trying to do with the emergency power agreement entered between GPDC and government of Ghana. You are not permitted to do that. Two, you see, this whole conversation about excess capacity, we have excess power and others. At least, government propagandists and hype men should stop this conversation. Randy, do you know that this steel company, B5,
yes,
do you know that as we speak, they are basically doing production between 35 to 30% of their capacity? Simply because we don't have power for them. Simply because we do not have power for them. Because this is a plant that can do steel production 100%, but they're having to do 30% because of power inadequacy. And there are many, many other companies having the same arrangement with government of Ghana because we do not have power to give them. So we cannot continue this conversation of excess capacity or what have you. In any case, the Tema LNG project, Akufo-Addo government basically worked it out. Is it not a take or pay? You claim that we had problem with take or pay. But between you and I, we have extended car power under President Akufo-Addo's term. The car power arrangement is a take or pay. AXA, you have extended it. It's a take or pay. So what exactly is your conversation? You cannot in one breath say take or pay agreements are terrible. Then you extend the same terrible agreement. What kind of person are you? Randy, but you see, not you as, okay, sorry. Look, let us all get this. The committee set up under the John Dramani Mahama administration was chaired by Jinapo. That committee concluded its work in September. Energy Commission set up a different commission chaired by Michael Opam. It is that committee that when MPP came, changed the chairmanship from Opam to Dr. Hinkra. So let the conversation all be situated that, look, under the NDC, they set up a committee to review this. No. The Jinapo committee concluded. And nowhere in the Jinapo committee...
Okay, gentlemen, let me do this quickly. Let me do this quickly. When we had the rains a few days ago, I'm sure that you saw pictures and videos of the latest AstroTurf in town, the Nigerian number one, flooded, yes, and all that. There's a press statement from the company here. That's Wembley Sports Construction Company Limited, and they say that we write in response to images and videos in circulation intended to depict the recently commissioned Nigerian AstroTurf as being flooded during and after the recent 5-hour rainfall on 26th of June 2021. We wish to state that Wembley Sports Construction Company Limited, WSCCL, has immense experience in delivering well-designed and constructed artificial football pitches. In several locations across the country, our pitches are constructed with a subterranean drainage system suitably designed to virtually eliminate the likelihood of our pitches being flooded during irregular rainfall. This drainage system is designed to empty into the available drainage system of the immediate environs of the pitch. As is evident in the pictures and videos being circulated, what happened at the Ajiri Ngano AstroTurf was a result of the failure of the drainage system in the neighborhood of the pitch, and not as a result of the inadequacy of the drainage system directly attached to the AstroTurf project. Checks will confirm that within 2 hours of the initial inundation of the pitch, all water had subsided due to the AstroTurf's drainage system's efficiency in evacuating the water away from the pitch. However, we have taken due note of the likely challenges to be encountered with drainage inadequacies in the immediate environs of the pitch, and we have initiated appropriate conversations with relevant stakeholders, including the project sponsor, to extend drainage assessments and considerations beyond the boundaries of our pitch. We wish to reassure our stakeholders that WSCCL remains committed to delivering technically sound artificial pitches irrespective of local conditions or challenges. Okay, so basically, so you see some of the videos and pictures of what happened. So basically, they're saying that as far as the project is concerned, everything is sound. And they've been playing soccer on the field even from Sunday evening, on this same field.
Randy,
yes.
You know, before I go to the topic.
Our time is even up.
Yeah, let me go straight. Let me say that today is a very good day, or good news for Ghanaians, especially.
The vaccines are coming.
No, with the commissioning of the Toyota assembly plant, the president will be
today.
Yes,
okay.
At the free zones and
to locally assemble
yes,
Toyota vehicles.
Yes,
okay.
Randy,
please let him finish.
Yes. Okay. My first vehicle that I drove as member of parliament, the one I used before coming back, it's a Toyota Hilux, made in South Africa.
Okay.
And I'm happy that now other countries will also be driving Toyota vehicles like I drove, made not necessarily in South Africa, but in this country. And I'm particularly glad that...
In SA is manufactured there, it's not assembled there.
All right.
Yeah.
But even the assembly process, the value addition...
It's part of manufacturing.
Exactly. I mean, this is going to create jobs. And as for me, the politics that I do, there's one thing that brings me eternal joy, which is knowing that my policies or actions have resulted...
You know my views on that, the thing you approved in Parliament. You know my views on that.
The automotive?
Yes.
Oh,
we've discussed it. You know the issues I raised with it.
Yeah, you know, I
have a lot of issues with it.
Yes. Normally masters and PhD people, that is what you are trying to do. To look for the issues in every arrangement so that it can be made better. But generally, it has come with a lot of good for this country. I mean, this VW Amarok pickup that I saw, I met someone who was driving it and he just approached me and said, what's your show? I'm happy that the vehicle is driving was made.
Are you sure it was assembled here?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because as part of the arrangement, you allowed them to bring in finished products.
Randy,
and you didn't even set a time frame for
Randy,
them.
It was put together here. And I am particularly glad that beyond employment, as in jobs to our youth and others.
How many jobs have been created so far by the VW?
Of course, I have to
check.
But yes, check.
All right.
One thing I'm happy also about, it helps to, protect your current account balance, as in the forex that you have. And that's a way of, mitigating. So we should not just
wait, my brother.
You know me, I like to look at the specifics.
No.
Because beyond the sophistry must be substance.
Randy, you know that if the GPGC contract was not terminated, by now they will be in production and they would have created jobs, pay taxes to government of Ghana. You know that.
Yes.
So it appears this government basically does one and then gives the other.
Okay.
But now you also know that if all were allowed,
Randy, I want to use the little time left.
We don't have time.
Yes. No, we don't have time. Express the greatest condolence to the young man that was murdered. That's Ibrahim Kaka Muhammad. He, the family, his only crime is to activate that we should fix this country. It's unfortunate that, such a young man, vibrant, will be killed in such a dastardly manner. I pray that President Akufo-Addo quickly call for an investigation into this matter to bring the perpetrators to book. But you
sympathize with the family.
Yeah, your time.
Anyone who gets killed because of his or opinion,
it's terrible.
We have to what we should not do is to try to link this. Let me say a very good morning to Sheikh Isaac and to Mr. Honorable His Excellency. That one I added Ajiri Blanks, and then finally to Chief of Staff She's always watching your show.
Okay.
So good morning.
Today she wouldn't be happy.
Randy says hi.
Yes. Yeah.
She wouldn't be happy.
Honorable
She's my big sister.
Honorable Frima. Randy says you come.
And see, my teacher at ADR sent me this. The Honorable Austin Gamen. It says,
the professor.
We should learn lessons that arbitration at any level is sometimes worse than going to court. At least one may seek review of a Supreme Court ruling. Remember, arbitration award is final and binding. The approach to a matter like this.
Do you know that there is actually
don't be flippant in dealing with government business.
Yes, government of Ghana was.
We'll see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.
Your radiant majesty, mighty God.
Metro TV, insightful and inspiring moments.
TV and also on DSTV channel 277. In Current Affairs, we have the latest political and social news.